Hi, today I'm going to explain how the media module works. So how you can manage your files on AsgardCms. We're going to cover how to upload files on your local file system on Amazon S3 and how other file systems can work too. We're also going to see how you can include media in your own custom modules and also on any WYSIWYG editor on the backend. We're also going to cover how to display images on the front end. So let's start with the media overview here. So as you can see, this is a standard interface to drag and drop files on the this zone here, or you can also click and choose files to upload. So first of all, I'm going to show you the configuration I have set up now for the media model. So we can go into the config Asgard media config file. You can see we have the local file system set up. You can also change this to S3 and it will upload files to this location. And these extensions are allowed. So if we go back into the browser, you can see we cannot select the PDF file over here. To be able to select that file, we have to add that extension here. So with this added, we can now upload the PDF file. So we can now see we can select the PDF there and upload it. This file will now be uploaded on the local file system because I have that set up. So if we go into PHP Storm, the default file is assets media. So if we go into the public folder, assets media, we can see our PDF file right there. So let's now delete that file and try to upload an image. So if you select an image, you can see that the image is uploaded, the file gets reloaded, and we can see our image in the list here. So let's now edit that file. We can see the original screenshot over here and thumbnails that were created on the bottom here. So the thumbnails get generated with the thumbnails configuration file. So you can see, for instance, in the media module, we have a config thumbnails.php. So we have a small thumb and a medium thumb. Those are the two default thumbnails that come with AsgardCms. Of course, you can create a lot more and customize however you want. All these different changes that apply on a thumbnail are all coming from the intervention image PHP package. So you can apply any of the filters over there. So that's for the thumbnail part. So we can also see on the file system that the thumbnails were created over here with the suffix of the thumbnail name. If we delete a file, so if we go back to the index, if we delete that file, of course, it will delete the file and every thumbnail associated with it. So let's try now to upload to Amazon S3. So I've always set up the S3 package in my environment file and the file system. So if we go into the file system configuration, you can see it reads from the environment to get the secret keys and region and etc. So now if we upload the same image again, it will upload that file on Amazon S3. That's all there is to it. So we can see the same image, the same thumbnails were generated, but if we inspect this, we can see that the URL comes from Amazon. So to give you an idea, this is my S3 bucket here, and the new files were created over here. So now that this is done, we can go over how you can include or you can use those images on the WYSIWYG editor. So the WYSIWYG is accessible on any module, of course, if you create so. Now we're going to display that on the pages module because that's built in. So we have our default page here that's created with the installation of Asgard. So now you can see we have an image icon here. That's also by default in a CK editor. But we have one thing added here, we can browse the server. So if we click that image, that link, you can see our image over here that we uploaded on Amazon. So we can now choose to insert that file in the small thumb, the medium thumb, or the original file. So let's go for the medium thumb over here, and you can see the preview and click OK. Okay, so the image is now included in the WYSIWYG. We can just save that and we'll have an image on our page. To prove you that it works, you can see our source here to the Amazon S3 bucket. Let's update our page. Go in again, and of course the image will be there. So that's how easy it is to include images on the WYSIWYG editor. Let's now see how you can include images on a custom module you created. For instance, a featured image on a blog post, a gallery of image on a recipe, for instance. That's what we're going to see now. So I created here a demo module, a recipe module. Very simple. You can see it only has two fields, a title and a content. And we're going to add here a field to upload a featured image and a field to upload multiple images. So if you're in doubt and you don't know how something works, you can always press F1 and you'll be brought to the documentation of AsgardCms. So you can see here there's a relations page which shows how you can create one-to-one relations and the one-to-many relation. So the one-to-one is if you have one image for your one entity, so the recipe in our instance here, or multiple images for our recipe, so the gallery, for instance. So we're going to use this as a base. We're going to copy this partial. You basically have to include one partial in your view and call a certain method on your controller to get the image you want. So let's do this. We can close those files, these two. So you can see my module over here. We're going to the views folder, admin, and the edit view. For now, the partial can only be included on the edit view. Soon it will also be available on the create view. So our partials of content and title are included here. Let's add this right at the bottom. Indent this. So our module is called recipe and our entity also recipe. The ID is recipe ID, and let's call this featured image. So that's the zone. That's if you have multiple zones on a page, you can call one the featured image, one the footer image, or whatever you want. So that's all. Now if we go back into the edit view here, we first need to create a recipe. So let's call this my test recipe. Let's create this. And now go into the edit view. You will see you have now a new browse button that will open the partial to include our image. So we can of course do that, but first let's finish this, and we need to go into the controller. So that's in HTTP controllers admin recipe controller. Let's go into the edit method, and we need to call the file repository. On this we need to create a variable name here, and that variable name, it's important that it's the same name as our zone over here. So let's call this featured image. Of course, let's call this. And on our file repository, we can find a file by our zone. So our zone is featured image, and our object is the recipe. Of course, we need to send that to the view. And now when we refresh our page, once we uploaded an image, the image will be displayed there. So let's select our image, insert a file, let's say the medium temp. And of course you see I forgot to add one important thing. It won't work without that. We need of course to add the trait on our entity. So I forgot here to add the media relation trait. Let's do that. So we have our entity, and let's add the media relation trait. So let's refresh our page and let's try again. So we're going to browse, insert the medium temp, and you can see our image has been included on the recipe. There's no need to update, all this is handled via Ajax. So if we go back onto the index, and go back onto our recipe, you can see our featured image is still here. In the database, if you're curious, you can open the imageables table, and you can see we have the class name, the zone name, and the ID of the file, of the recipe, sorry. So now we have included one image on our recipe. Let's also see how we can display that image on the front end. So for this, I've created a very simple index page here on our front end page, where we display the title of the recipe. Let's see how that works. I have a public view over here, and we display the title. For that, I created a simple route to the front-end controller on the index method. Index method just grabs all the recipes and sends them to the view. So we're here on the view, and we also want to display that one image of our. So let's for that create an image tag, and in that tag for the source we can call that recipe files. We need to grab the first one because we can always have multiple, and let's get the path. And now we have our image displayed on the page. It's that simple. This is all just standard Laravel relations. If we go into the entity, we can see the media relation that adds a file method. So that's all there is to it. So we have our one image displayed. That's all very nice. And what if we now want a gallery, for instance, of photos on a recipe? Okay, so now we're going to add multiple images on our recipe here. So you can see we just did the one-to-one relation. Now we need to do the one-to-many relation. There's not a lot different here. We just need to include a different partial on our view, and just again in the controller get the all the images for that zone. So let's copy that and go back into our edit view. Below this, I'm going to just add a line and add our partial. Again, here we have the recipe ID, and let's keep the zone name to gallery, since that matches our need here. If we go into the backend again, you can see we have again a browse button to upload images. The difference here is that we can upload multiple images, of course. One thing we need to do as well, on our controller, we need to grab those images. So we need to call that gallery. Again, that has to be the same name as the zone name. File repository, found multiple files by zone name. So that's gallery for our recipe. Let's send that to the view as well. So if we go back onto our backend page here, so we're going to now browse again and upload our images. Of course, we only have one, so we need to upload new here. We can open that to upload new images and select our images. Our images are now being uploaded to Amazon S3. The thumbnails are being created. Once those thumbnails have been created, the page will reload and we can select them. So here we have our images. We can insert the files. Let's just grab the originals. Browse again, insert this one. So we can insert as many images as we want. And now we have 4 images linked to our test recipe. So to confirm, you can just go into that same table and you can see our gallery zone here has 4 images. Now on the front end, it's pretty simple again. We can loop over those images and display them. So let's go back into our public view. One thing I forgot to show is that on the controller, we need to prepend to add the suffix here on the gallery name. So that's the file suffix. So that when we refresh this page, the images get shown. So now let's see how we can display those images on the front end. So first, let's go into the public view And we'll just display those images over here. Nothing fancy. We're going to go into our entity, so the recipe model, and let's create a accessor method. So get gallery attribute. So for this, let's just call this files method, but we're only interested in a specific zone. So let's take the zone of gallery and fetch those. So in our view, let's create a for each recipe gallery as image, and let's include an image like so. So now if we refresh our public view, you'll see we have all our images here. Of course, we didn't attach thumbnails, so that's why they are so big here. So that pretty much covers the basic of the media model. I hope this was clear and easy to use for you guys. Thank you. Bye bye.